Are you an intermediate player looking to improve? Maybe what got you here isn't what's going to get you to the next level. Maybe it's not a scale pattern or a picking exercise. Maybe it's something else. For me, there were a few obvious things that I did that really helped my guitar playing. There was the minor pentatonic box pattern. That was a biggie. There was also bar chords that allowed me to play all over the neck. And it maybe goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway, it was knowing the notes on the fretboard. That made a big difference for me, perhaps the biggest of all. But we're not going to talk about any of those today. We're going to talk about something else that if you're not doing it, there's a lot of people who don't do this, it can really make a big difference in your play when you incorporate it. So let's check it out. Now, I think we tend to remember technical things more, scale patterns, picking exercises, but this has nothing to do with anything technical. I was over a friend's house. He was a drummer, and I played in a band where he was in a band, so I was reasonably competent. I just didn't have the sound that I wanted. And he put on a record. He put on Axis Bold as Love. Now, I hadn't heard the record yet, and I had heard Hendrix playing Purple Haze or Foxy Lady or Fire, but I'd never heard that chordal style that I heard on Little Wing, One Rainy Wish, and especially on Castles Made of Sand. And it just blew me away. I think it was just that he was playing with so much confidence. But how do you get that confidence? Well, like anything, it comes from familiarity. So if we take something simple and then make it very familiar to us, we can get it. For this style, it's important to remember that these are chord moves. So let's start out with a few simple chord shapes. So the first chord shape we'll look at is this E shape that I'm playing here for C, based on the 8th fret here. It's important to start seeing little pieces of this chord. So here's a little piece, for example, on the top 3 strings. And there's this one on the middle strings. We're going to use those two. Another shape that we're going to use is the C shape. Here I'm playing it for G, there's my root. And we can see again, there's little pieces of that chord. The last shape we'll use is a G shape, and this is a G-shaped D chord. Here's the root right here on the E string 10th fret, and it's also on the G string 7th fret. And that's kind of hard to play, so again, here's where seeing little fragments helps a lot. This is on the middle 3 strings, and that's on those 3 strings. You'll notice I'm talking a lot about these little pieces of chords, chord fragments. Now, why wouldn't I just play the whole big chord? Isn't that always better? The answer is no. It's sonically a lot more crowded, and sometimes it crowds out a lot of other people, including the singer, which is a big no-no. But there's also another huge advantage to playing small chords. It gives you open fingers, available fingers to do other things on the guitar fretboard that are kind of interesting. So let's check that out. Now this style involves lots of double stops and lots of hammer-ons. So it's really good that we have those free fingers when we use these mini chords, right? Okay, our first example is going to be over this E-shaped C. And it's going to involve this little mini chord and this one. Okay, here it is. Slowly. That lick may be a little bit difficult if you're not used to using your pinky, but practice it and you'll get it. Now, we're going to do 2 more of those chord moves, but make sure you stick around to the end because I've got a little surprise in store for you. Let's go on with the next one. All right, our next chord move involves the C-shaped G. This one goes like this. And now slowly. And our next lick involves a G-shaped D chord. This chord right here, it goes like this. Slowed down. Now, here's something that's pretty cool. Because we can play these licks over chords, we can play over a chord progression. So here's what the lick sounds like when I'm moving chord to chord. And they're all in the same place. That was the benefit of doing those three shapes. Here's all three together: C to G to D. Now, the secret to get that confident sound: play downstrokes and play it hard. But we've just scratched the surface of how to play in this style. If you want to know more, click here, because in that video I show you the ins and outs of how to play in that style, even if you don't do that thumb wrap that Hendrix did that's so painful. Ugh. But you can do it anyway. So click here. I'll see you in that video, and I'll see you on down the road.